먼저 저는 시애틀통합한국학교 교장 윤혜성입니다. 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
네, 오늘 모실 분은 우리 시애틀 항방청의 샘조 커미셔너를 모셨습니다. 여러분들과 오늘 대화의 시간을 가질 거니까 즐거운 여러분들 질문한 것들을 오늘 답해주는 시간이에요. 잘 부탁드립니다.
Good morning. 좋은 아침입니다. My name is Sam. As she said, I grew up here in Seattle, just like you all, and I currently serve as the Port Commissioner at the Port of Seattle. 항구가 뭔지 아는 사람? 항구. Anyone? 네? 항구. What is 항구? Anyone? 나 항구. Right. Yeah, right. So where the boats go in and out is called 항구, right? So the port. 공항. Who knows what 공항 is? Airport. That's right. So 항방청은 공항과 항구를 관리하는, right? So we take care and create policies for the airport. Who here has flown at a SeaTac airport? And the seaport. Who has gone to the waterfront where the Ferris wheel is in Seattle, right? So the Port of Seattle creates policies for the seaport and the airport. And so that's my new job. And how I got this job is I ran for office back in November, and I won. So the people in King County, who lives in King County? Do you guys know where you live? Yeah. So the voters of King County voted, and they said, we want Sam to run the port. So that's what I do. And I started January 1. And my term is 4 years. So I will do this for 4 years. And after 4 years, I will run again, hopefully. I don't know if you know this, but Korea is our 4th largest trading partner. Washington State, Korea is our 4th largest trading partner. After China, right? After Japan and Vietnam, Korea is number 4. Wow. Right? And so, especially for us here in Seattle, being able to speak Korean, know Korean, is a huge asset and improvement. And so, the reason I can speak Korean, obviously, is because I'm at the 한국학교 just like you all. 토요일 아침마다 일어나서 여기 오는 게 어렸을 때는 되게 뭐라 그래야 되지? 싫었죠? 싫죠? 솔직히 말하면 싫죠? 토요일 아침마다 여기 와야 되니까, right? When I was a kid, at Saturday mornings, all my friends would watch cartoons, right? For me, Saturday morning, I had to come here and learn Korean, right? So many of you might not think that this is fun, or you might not like this, but I guarantee you, maybe your parents already say this to you. When you're older, you're going to thank your parents, right? Today, I am 29, and I'm an elected official, and I thank my parents so much for making me come here. So you might hate this right now, like being here every morning, really early in the morning on a Saturday, but I promise you, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, you're going to be so grateful. And I think that, just to make a further point, is that you all are very lucky. And I'll tell you why. Because when I was growing up, I got made fun of a lot. I don't know if maybe this is the case now. I don't think this is the case anymore. But in the 90s and early 2000s even, if you were a foreigner or if you spoke a different language, so it's funny because everyone has a lunchbox moment. Do you know what I'm talking about when I say a lunchbox moment? You know what I'm talking about, right? 도시락, 엄마가 도시락 싸주면 학교 가져가면 there's always someone who says something about your lunch, right? 도시락 moment. What does that smell? What is that, right? Who's experienced that before in school? Why? Yeah, exactly. Is that dog? What is kimchi? What does that smell, right? When I was a kid, I used to hate that, right? By 4th grade, I stopped taking push-up to lunch. I said, Mom, I want to eat my school lunch. right? Because I don't want to deal with that, right? And so imagine if you're still, it sounds like some of you still experience that, right? Right? But I would venture to guess that's because they're curious. When I was a kid, I got made fun of. Right? There was a day, actually, don't tell my mom this. There was a day where one of my classmates, a girl sitting next to me, saw me at lunch, and she made a comment. I was so embarrassed. I got up and I just threw it away. Didn't even eat it. Right? And so growing up, that was my experience, right? I was not always proud to be Korean, but I think times have changed. And so, you know, I wasn't sure what this format was going to be, honestly, so I prepared to speak, but the point of the speech that I prepared is that you should be proud of the fact that you guys are learning about your culture, your heritage, the language of your parents. And I guarantee you, I promise you, that when you are in college, when you become a professional, you will be so grateful and thankful that you can speak Korean. I have a lot of friends. 이세, who's first generation? 한국에서 태어난 친구. Okay. 미국에서 태어난 친구. Yeah. So I was born here as well. And I have a lot of friends who can't speak Korean, and that's the biggest regret.
You should listen. He's kind of role model, like
They-
a future image of you guys.
They hate that they can't speak Korean. Right? Because the reality is that when you guys wake up in the morning and you guys look in the mirror, you can't change the fact that you look like you're Korean, right? Right? So instead of running away from it, you should embrace it. And so that's kind of the main message I wanted to give today, is that you should embrace your heritage, be proud of it, tell your friends. You know, again, I think it's so much easier for you today, right? You know, when growing up for me, if I listen to Korean music, people will be like, what is that? Right? Today, if you listen to Korean music, everyone knows BTS, right? Right? So you guys are living in a far better environment than I was. And I think that a very good indicator of this is that, you know, when you get elected into public office, you do something called 선서, right? An oath of office. You put your hand up. You ever see this? Like, you see presidents do this and say, you know, I will uphold the Constitution of the United States. They take an oath of office, right? Well, I took my oath of office in English, and I took my oath of office in Korean. And the reason I did that is because I wanted to show people that not only that I have pride in my Korean heritage, but that our heritage should be celebrated by everyone. Right? If I had tried that 20 years ago, no chance. Right? The times are good for you all, so please embrace it. And I'm happy to answer any questions you want to have.
Oh yeah. I was curious about what was his lunch.
볶음밥, 계란말이. Actually, I still remember this day. When I threw out my lunch, I threw out the 계란말이.
Oh really?
Yeah, it was I still
계란말이 is okay.
20 years later, I still feel bad about it. Don't tell my mom. What else? You know, just typical Korean stuff, right?
You actually brought the kimchi?
I didn't. So I don't. Full disclosure, I don't eat much kimchi. I don't really like kimchi. But I didn't take a lot of kimchi.
Oh, okay.
But I have a lot of friends who had that kimchi experience.
Oh,
A lot of friends took kimbap.
Yeah, kimbap. Even some mandu.
만두 or 오뎅국, right?
내가 아무거나 물어봐도 되지.
Yeah.
다음 시간이
다음은 없어.
시간이 지금밖에 없어요.
좀 이따가 좀 생각해요.
뭐야?
Okay.
대통령 하실 생각 있어요?
Yeah, I was curious actually.
이거 물어볼까 말까?
Maybe.
Maybe?
Never say never, right? We'll see.
Uh-huh.
Make sure you vote.
Anyone have a question?
야 다음 차례
The back?
물어봐.
Hello, back guys.
I've had a lot of mentors in my life, and I think everyone here is going to be very successful in life. Obviously, your parents care about you. You guys are going to go to schools. But oftentimes, what happens is that when you succeed in life, people forget where they come from, right? They forget, oh yeah, my parents did this. They immigrated here. They lived a hard life, provided for me. A lot of times, when you become successful, a lot of people kind of forget about the past. Obama is another guy who had a very difficult past. His parents, growing up, he had a very tough childhood, but he never forgot, right? And so even when he became president, he seemed like just a normal guy sometimes. He has this charm and charisma, but when you just talk to him, he's just another guy. And I think that was very intentional, right? A lot of people put themselves on a pedestal and it's like, hey, I'm the president, right? But I think he was very humble, actually, in many ways. And that was a huge lesson for me, to not just remember where you come from, because he's actually also, his father was an immigrant from Kenya, right? And so he grew up in Indonesia, actually, and Hawaii. And so he has very similar background to many of you, and he always said, you never forget where you came from. And so Obama was great, and I miss him a lot.
빨리 지금
학부모님도 혹시
Yeah.
있으면
We'll keep that day. Okay.
What surprised you about your position now that you have it? That's
Oh, what surprised me about my position, now that I have it? So, there's 5 commissioners. I'm the only person of color. Right?
Oh.
So it means I'm the only person who's not white. Okay? I knew that going in, right? But I didn't realize how big of a difference it makes when you have representation. And I think this is a really, I appreciate this question because I think there's a broader point here that I want to make. And is that after I became the port commissioner, all of a sudden, all these people who probably normally didn't feel comfortable or didn't have a voice felt empowered and felt like they can come to me about things, right? Because they saw someone who maybe had similar experiences as them, who understood their concerns. And so, I've been approached by many people about issues that didn't get addressed before, right? And so this is a broader point that I want to make to the younger folks here is that representation matters, right? I think that when you look at government, when you look at even big companies, how many Koreans are really at the top? Not a lot, right? How many Korean American CEOs are there? How many Korean American politicians are there, right? And I don't think it's because we're not qualified. I think Koreans are probably, I think, the smartest people in the world, right? But for some reason, we don't have a lot of people who have made it to the top, right? And I think part of the reason is because there hasn't been a role models and people to look up to. And I'm not saying I want to be that person because I definitely don't want to be that burden. But the reality is that everyone here should kind of work towards becoming the best at whatever you do, right? As a kid, my mom would always say something. It's like 최선을 다해라, right? Do everything you can, right? 뭐든지 열심히 해라, right? Work hard. But that, my mom would always say, 뭐 공부할 때 열심히 공부하고, 놀 때도 열심히 놀고, right? So my point is that when you all move up in the world and succeed and become high level CEOs and whatnot, make sure that you represent your community, right? And make sure that you're a leader for this community, right? And don't forget where you came from. Again, going back to my original point. Just make sure that you remember I'm a proud Korean American, I'm rooted in the Korean heritage, and that you want to make sure that the next generation, right? There's a lot of 이세, right, here, but there's 삼세. Your kids will be 삼세, right? My kids will be 삼세. That our language or our heritage doesn't get lost, and I promise you that in some way you never expected, your Korean will benefit you. For me, I never thought being a politician and speaking Korean would ever benefit me in any way, but it turns out that I was wrong. It's a tremendous asset. So, yeah. Sorry, it was a roundabout answer to your question, but I hope that answers your question. if an opportunity presents itself, I'll think about it. Yeah. Go ahead.
What do you think was the best president on US?
Who do I think was the best president in the U.S.?
Trump.
I think it was. I mean, in the last 50 years, I think it was Barack Obama. But, you know, I'm biased.
Okay, does anyone have more question? 부모님이나 선생님들 중 네.
네.
지금부터 24년 전에 우리 자라나는 여러분 같은 2세들 중에서 미국 사회 또는 한국 사회에 귀하게 쓸 인재들을 키워보자 그런 생각으로 통합학교를 시작을 했습니다.
Okay, like 24 years ago, they have some plan for the like the second, third generation. They just grab like a really good, like a leader of the future. That's what the plan for this school. They build it.
그런데 24년 만에 오늘 샘조 같은 우리 통합학교 출신 인재를 이렇게 여러분 앞에 소개하게 돼서 굉장히 기쁘고 자랑스럽고 그렇습니다.
He's very happy and proud of him because he's from this Korean school. Finally, like after 24 years, we just got kind of role model of our like a Korean generation.
그래서 이 자리에서 제가 바라는 것은 앞으로 여러분들 중에서 샘조 같은 아니면 샘보다 더 훌륭한 사람들이 많이 나오게 되기를 바랍니다.
Okay, his big hope, and he hopefully all of you guys gonna be grown up like him or even better, than him. Yes, in the future, like sooner or later.
그리고 이 자리를 빌어서 샘한테 한 가지 제안할 게 있어요.
He has one suggestion to him.
더 학교가 시작된 지 24년이나 됐으니까 쌤 같은 졸업생이 많이 나왔어요 그동안에. 그 졸업생들을 모아가지고 쌤이 주축이 돼가지고 동창회를 하나 만들어 보면 어떻겠어요? 그래가지고 그 동창회가 앞으로는 통합학교를 도와줄 수 있는 길을
알럼나이.
Alumni, yeah. That's what he wants to ask him is making an alumni group, so they're gonna lead your this school for the future. So he suggests him to making alumni groups as a leader. What do you think?
네, 제가 노력하겠습니다. 네.
오늘 이렇게 시간 내서 와주셔서 대단히 감사합니다.
아, 네. 초대해 주셔서 감사합니다.
하나 둘 셋.
하나, 둘, 셋.